Uganda's parliament is pulling a fast one, and it's about to cost millions of Ugandan farmers everything. See it this way: you have just sold your hard-earned assets only to be conned into buying them back at a loss. I can imagine how preposterous this sounds. Anyways, that is precisely what is about to start happening with Uganda's coffee industry. Except this time, it's not monkeys being traded. It is the backbone of Uganda's economy. What's clear though is that the solution is not more government control. It's blockchain. Now stay tuned, because what I'm about to reveal will shake your faith in centralized authority and show you why the future of Uganda's coffee lies in decentralized, transparent systems. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this submission. My name is Samuel, by the way, for those that are watching for the first time. Uganda's coffee industry, a pillar of the national economy, is once again on the shaky ground as the government considers dissolving the Uganda Coffee Development Authority and shifting control to the Ministry of Agriculture. This move has stirred, of course, mixed anxieties among coffee farmers who fear that, and rightly so, that government control could expose the industry to the same mismanagement that has plagued other sectors in Uganda. To understand the extent of this fiasco, let me use the story of the monkey trader parable or analogy, whichever way you'd like to call it. In this story, somewhere in a small village in Uganda, monkeys were terrorizing, and by that is hypothetical, monkeys were terrorizing villagers, eating their crops. But one day, a wealth trader announced that he will buy monkeys for $10 each. Initially, the villagers scrambled and they went everywhere in the forests, captured these monkeys, and sold them to the trader for a decent profit. Now, as monkeys became scarcer, the trader kept raising the prices to $20 and then to $50 and finally to $100 per monkey. Now, eventually, the trader left his assistant in charge and took a trip, during which the assistant did offer a deal to the villagers where they would buy back the captured monkeys for $75 each. And that he told them that they could sell the monkeys back to the trader at $100 each as soon as he returns. The villagers very excitedly and eagerly bought back the monkeys, hoping for a quick profit. But the trader never returned, and the villagers were left with empty pockets and a painful of worthless monkeys. This story reveals a universal lesson about centralized systems that thrive on manipulation and exploitation, which obviously leaves the vulnerable at the mercy of those in government or in leadership or in control. This mirrors Uganda's coffee sector and a centralized, what they want to impose, centralized government control, and this is particularly as the government moves to strip away the autonomous institutions like the Uganda Coffee Development Authority and place coffee regulation exclusively under the Ministry of Agriculture. Now, as history shows, such moves have often resulted in inefficiency, corruption, and ultimately the exploitation of the small-scale farmers. So we cannot forget Uganda's government, Uganda's troubling history of mismanagement, especially when it comes to key sectors through corruption, inefficiency, and centralization. This reality isn't just abstract, it has deeply affected the day-to-day lives of Ugandans. I perhaps should give you some examples. We cannot forget the health sector mismanagement. You remember the COVID-19 funds scandal. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ugandan government received billions in international aid to combat the virus and support health systems. However, the Auditor General's report in 2021 revealed that over 89 billion, approximately 24 million US dollars, was stolen, was misappropriated. The funds which were meant for, procuring personal protective equipment, ventilators, vaccines, all of these were stolen. They were diverted. So that is what happens when you subject such key sectors to centralized fund management. It leaves the citizens powerless, and these kind of failures can only be mitigated by a decentralized blockchain-based tracking system, which of course I'll explain a little bit later. And those that have been watching my videos, I've been trying to explain what blockchain is all about. It would allow citizens to see exactly where funds have been allocated and spent. There was another scandal, the National Agricultural Advisory Services, NAADS. This was established to provide essential support services to farmers, including seeds, tools, and education. Hey, you all know what happened to NAADS. NAADS quickly became a notorious avenue for corrupt officials, and of course the inefficiency that you have all witnessed. In 2014, it was discovered that NAADS officials had misappropriated billions of shillings, with reports showing that only a meager 15% of the distributed funds actually reached the farmers. The Office of the Prime Minister, several scandals, ghost projects. Now, in one of Uganda's largest corruption scandals, the Office of the Prime Minister was implicated in the mismanagement of funds intended for Northern Uganda. Northern Uganda's post-recovery plans. Between 2012 and 2013, over 50 billion, that's around 13.5 billion, earmarked for food, health, and education support, was stolen. They were siphoned through fake projects and ghost contractors. I don't want to talk about the Mabat scandal. So many scandals, all of these being a consequence of centralized control. The energy sector, the Karuma and Simba dams. You know how construction has always been stalling purely because centralized control was put in place. So, how can blockchain and the decentralization of these projects protect Uganda's coffee sector? I have given here a preamble, a background of how dangerous it is to have this sector under the management of central authority. These scandals demonstrate the risk of placing essential industries under centralized control. And here is how blockchain could prevent similar issues in the coffee sector. Number one, transparent transactions and direct payments. A blockchain-based coffee trading platform would allow coffee farmers to sell directly to international buyers, reducing the reliance on corrupt middlemen and government-run bodies that serve political interests most of the times. Each transaction would be recorded publicly, allowing farmers to see exactly who buys their coffee, at what price, and when they can expect payment. Instead of government officials manipulating prices, blockchain would ensure a fair market competition and prompt payments. A coffee farmer in Bugishu, Eastern Uganda, could use a digital wallet to receive payments directly, bypassing exploitative intermediaries. Quality assurance and immutable records. With blockchain, each batch of coffee could be tracked from farm to buyer, ensuring that no low quality or counterfeit coffee dilutes Uganda's brand on the international market. Now, farmers would be able to log the quality of their harvest along with details about the farming methods used. This record would be publicly accessible, ensuring that government officials or corrupt traders cannot manipulate quality standards or control prices or discredit small-scale farmers. Blockchain smart contracts could ensure that funds allocated to support coffee farmers are released only when verifiable milestones are achieved or attained. For example, if the government pledges to provide 10 billion Uganda shillings in coffee seedlings, a smart contract could release funds only when the seedlings are physically distributed and verified by multiple sources. This would prevent misappropriation and ensure that funds actually reach the intended parties or recipients. Then, decentralized governance for the coffee sector. In a decentralized governance model, farmers and stakeholders would have voting rights on key industry decisions, including export policies, quality standards, and pricing strategies. Now, instead of relying on a central government ministry, decisions could be made transparently by those directly affected. For example, a coffee cooperative in Kasese could propose and vote on standards that benefit small-scale farmers, and now this would reduce reliance on central entities that often prioritize political interests over the needs of the industry. We've seen this play out over and over again. Now, what are the lessons from the Mangi trader and Uganda scandals? and the problem we are about to face, especially in regard to coffee. The monkey trader parable is a very powerful reminder of what happens when people place blind trust in central authorities that lack accountability. This happens a lot in Uganda. Uganda's coffee farmers are on the brink of a similar fate if control over their industry is fully centralized. From health and agriculture to energy and humanitarian projects, the Ugandan government's history of mismanagement, it needs no further introduction. It has a pattern. There is a pattern of exploitation and inefficiency which leaves citizens without recourse. So blockchain and decentralized solutions offer a pathway out of this cycle. They provide transparent, verifiable, and direct access to markets and resources. So blockchain would definitely empower Uganda's coffee farmers and enable them to take control of their livelihoods. It is not just about coffee, by the way. It's about changing the balance of power, preventing exploitation, and giving Ugandans a fair shot in the global economy. In an era where trust in centralized authorities has repeatedly been broken, decentralized technology could be the key to ensuring that Uganda's coffee farmers never find themselves stuck with worthless monkeys ever again. Blockchain technology, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, isn't just about digital currencies, as it has been constantly misconceived. It is a system built on trust, transparency, and fairness. It's about empowering Ugandan farmers, giving them direct access to markets, and ensuring they receive the true value of their hard work. In a world where centralized power has failed us, I've mentioned that over and over again, decentralization could be the answer we desperately need. Now, if you believe in a future where Uganda's coffee farmers aren't exploited, where funds reach the intended recipients, and where transparency is the norm, then I want you to do me one small favor. Share this video. Let us raise awareness, educate, and push for a decentralized system that can truly benefit Ugandans and the world at large. So, if you have stuck around up to this point, I want to thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button and also switch on the notification bell and like this video. I have nothing else to say. Peace.